Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to walk you through configuring the Big IP as a recursive DNS server with a response policy zone, or an RPZ zone. For those of you that are unfamiliar with what an RPZ zone is, it allows organizations to restrict DNS queries, restrict them from accessing maybe inappropriate websites or something like that when browsing. In this example, we're going to go ahead and use a website called, or a domain name called weapons.com. So with that, let's go ahead and get started and I'll show you what we have set up already. For those of you that have seen some of our previous videos, you'll notice that much of this is the exact same. We have a DNS listener for UDP only for demonstration purposes. We also have a DNS profile. And you'll notice that we still have our demo cache profile, which was our transparent cache. In order to implement the RPZ zone, we're going to need to change this to a resolver cache or a validating resolver cache. Let's go ahead and take a look at the virtual servers we have. I have created a virtual server that we're going to use for a sorry page, and within that virtual server I simply have an iRule assigned to display an error message when a user attempts to browse to that website, weapons.com. So let's go ahead and get started creating our RPZ zones. So we'll start with Zone Runner. Select external. We're also going to add an additional option here, also notify, which will notify our DNS Express instance of the zone and any additions or removals of resource records. I'm going to put in some pretty common values here. And we're going to click Finished. Now we're going to go ahead and create our DNS Express zone. I'm going to use localhost. We're going to uncheck Verify and Notify TSIG. We're going to check Response Policy and click Finished. Now we're going to go back to our zone runner zone, and we're going to go ahead and create a resource record for weapons.com. So we are going to and click Finished. And so now we've just created a resource record for weapons.com within our RPZ zone. Next, let's go ahead and create our resolver cache. And just select resolver from the drop down and click Finished. And we're going to start by creating a local zone. And we're going to change that to static. And we're going to use the IP address of the virtual server for our sorry page. Go ahead and click Add and Finished. Next, we're going to select Forward Zones. And this is what zones we're going to forward to an upstream DNS server for resolution. So for our name, we want to resolve all domain names. And we're going to go ahead and use Google for demonstration purposes. Click Add and Finished. Now we're going to go and configure our response policy zone. So again, I mentioned we have two options here. We can send a NX domain response, and we can also configure a walled garden response or a sorry page. We're going to demonstrate both, but we're going to start with NX domain response. And next we are going to, actually before we go ahead and assign that cache, let's just go ahead and show that we were able to successfully resolve weapons.com. So you notice we are able to resolve. And just go ahead and flush our cache, go back to TeamUI, and select our DNS profile. And we're just going to change the cache to our resolver cache. And click Update. And go back to our workstation. And attempt to resolve weapons.com again, and you'll notice that we are getting our non-existent domain response as expected and defined within our resolver cache. Next, we'll go ahead and again modify using our second option of a sorry page. Go ahead and click our resolver cache, response policy zones. From the drop down, we'll go ahead and select our walled garden, and then the local zone that we created earlier, and click Finish. Go back to our workstation. And launch our browser. And you'll notice that we get exactly what we expected, the HTML content to show that access denied to this web page or this particular domain name. With that, I hope this is useful for somebody out there. Until next time.